Hi, and welcome to FinFlow.
Yeah.
Today we're doing something really interesting. Imagine a life where, you know, financial freedom isn't just some far-off dream, but it's actually, well, real,
Mm-hmm.
tangible, within your reach.
Mm.
What if we told you there are specific career paths out there? Some you might not even think of right away that could realistically get you to a seven-figure income.
Right. Because for generations, becoming a millionaire felt, well, almost impossible for most people. It seemed like it was reserved for, the empire builders, the ones starting huge companies from scratch.
Exactly. But what if that whole landscape, the economic reality, has changed dramatically,
Yeah.
making that kind of wealth maybe more accessible than we think, even through a really good job?
That's the core of it, isn't it? How the pathways have changed.
Precisely. So today, we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive. We're looking into careers that have the potential to seriously elevate your earning power. We've gone through a lot of, well, insightful material and found some surprising routes, some really crucial specializations that kind of challenge the old ways of thinking about getting wealthy.
Yeah, the traditional models aren't the only game in town anymore.
Our mission for you today is really to cut through the noise, maybe some myths, and highlight the most important insights we've found. We want to give you a clear roadmap, a sense of the opportunities that could genuinely lead towards financial freedom.
And hopefully spark some aha moments along the way.
Definitely. Maybe even get you thinking differently about your own career path.
Yeah, what's truly compelling here, I think, is watching how wealth creation itself has evolved. It's really not just about building massive businesses anymore, with hundreds of employees and huge sales figures. That's still a way, but not the only way.
Right.
The path to millionaire status has really diversified. A lot of the big opportunities now come from very specific expertise, or they're tied to shifts in the global economy. Understanding these shifts, how they've opened up new doors for high earners, that's absolutely key.
It really is. The old rule book doesn't quite fit anymore.
Not completely, no.
So to give you the full picture, we'll be looking at a whole range of professions. We'll cover highly specialized medical fields, the absolute cutting edge of digital security, even the wild world of new media.
A real mix.
A real mix. Now, while the ideas, the principles we discuss are pretty universal for building wealth anywhere, it's important to mention the specific numbers, the salaries we'll talk about, they're mostly based on U.S. data.
That's a good point. So those figures can definitely vary depending on where you are in the world. Significantly sometimes.
Absolutely. But the underlying mechanics, how value is created and rewarded, that tends to be pretty consistent.
Right. The principles travel.
Okay, let's start by talking about this modern millionaire mindset. For so long, the traditional idea of hitting millionaire status was almost always tied to building a big business.
Right. Ground up.
Yeah, hiring lots of people, managing complex operations, huge sales. It was about creating an empire, really, a big machine.
Definitely. That was the image.
But what we're seeing now, and what our research really highlights, is a major shift. You can absolutely hit seven figures today, not just by being a titan of industry,
Right.
but by having a really well-paying job that leverages unique skills, or by specializing, going super deep in an established field, or even by creating brand new roles that just didn't exist, say, 20 or 30 years ago.
It's almost like the scale has changed, too. For some, at the very top, you hear people joke, billionaire is the new millionaire.
Exactly. It signals a kind of redefinition of what major financial success looks like now.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, the trend that really jumps out is the power of specialization. It's not just about having a generally high-paying job.
Yeah.
It's about developing this hyper-focused expertise within those already well-paid fields. That specific, deep knowledge commands even higher salaries than before, like a laser focus on a really high-demand niche.
Being indispensable in a narrow area.
Precisely. You solve problems or deliver value that a generalist just can't. And on top of that, the economy's evolved so much that we have these entirely new, super lucrative jobs popping up. Roles that leverage new tech, respond to new societal needs, things that just weren't around before.
Right.
The reward for that level of expertise, as we'll see, can be massive. But, and this is crucial, with those huge rewards comes really fierce competition at the top.
Always the way, isn't it? High reward, high competition.
Usually, yeah. It's a battle of skill, dedication, sometimes sheer brain power.
That focus on hyper-specialization really does highlight a fundamental change. It's not just being good, it's being essential in a very specific way. So let's dive into some of these elite professions. We'll start with two big ones. healthcare, and law.
Okay.
And our first pick might surprise some people. Plastic surgeons, alongside other specialized doctors. Now you might think, why plastic surgeons first? Why not, say, neurosurgeons or cardiologists? They usually come to mind as the top earners in medicine.
That's a fair question. And what's insightful here isn't just the raw profit, but the dynamics driving that growth in plastic surgery. Think about this. Last year, in the U.S. alone, people spent over $16 billion on, let's call them aesthetic adjustments.
16 billion.
Yeah. And it's not just a big number, it's growing fast year after year. A lot of that is fueled by social media, where, appearance and self-image are huge, almost a kind of social currency now.
That makes sense.
The key thing isn't just social media drives demand, it's how it's changed spending. Personal image has become a major investment area for many people, creating this market that's surprisingly resilient to economic downturns, especially for doctors who are really good at specific in-demand procedures.
So it's less about insurance and more about direct payment.
Often, yes. Many procedures are elective, paid out of pocket. That can mean higher profit margins for private practices compared to fields heavily reliant on insurance reimbursements. Now, specialists like radiologists, cardiologists, orthopedic surgeons, they do average around $400,000 a year. Neurosurgeons are up there too.
Right, still huge numbers.
Absolutely. But plastic surgery stands out because of that market structure. Plus, it's often seen as one of the, relatively speaking, easier specializations to get into from general medicine. And crucially, the demand ensures a steady stream of clients, often self-referring. So starting salaries might be around $250,000 and up, but the potential in a successful private practice, especially focusing on those high-demand, high-margin procedures, it's immense.
That's fascinating. How a cultural shift, boosted by tech, reshapes an entire profession's economics. Does the research touch on any potential downsides, like ethical stuff or market saturation?
It doesn't go deep into the ethics, no. The focus is really on the wealth generation side. But it does imply that the practitioners who really thrive are the ones building a strong reputation, a unique brand almost. That suggests a need for constant innovation. As for saturation, well, competition is increasing. But the global reach of social media, plus new procedures always coming out, suggests there's still significant growth potential, especially for those specializing in the latest techniques or catering to, the high-end market.
Understood. Okay, let's pivot to another elite field, corporate lawyers. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. If you're sharp, really sharp, in the legal world, you could potentially hit millionaire status within just 5 years of starting a corporate job at a big firm.
Yeah, the trajectory can be incredibly fast.
We're talking starting salaries around $200,000, but climbing quickly.
The key insight here is that corporate lawyers aren't just, reading law books. They're actively safeguarding and facilitating massive amounts of corporate value. Their rapid path to 7 figures comes down to being incredibly productive and adding huge quantifiable value to the big financial or tech companies they work for.
Quantifiable is the key word there.
Absolutely. It's a direct link. The more value you bring securing a huge deal, protecting vital assets, navigating complex regulations, the higher your pay. Or, flip side, the more financial damage you help them avoid, the more valuable you are.
So which areas are the most lucrative?
The big ones are where empires are built and defended, mergers and acquisitions, M&A that's integrating companies worth billions, intellectual property, IP protecting the very core of what a company sells, like patents and trademarks, and patent law itself, securing groundbreaking inventions.
The stakes are enormous in those areas.
Immense. A top lawyer in these fields directly impacts shareholder value in a massive way. It's not unheard of in a really big, successful case for a lawyer to get a single payout over $1 million. That shows you the kind of value they can create or protect for their clients.
Wow. It really drives home that it's not just legal knowledge, but applying it to directly impact the bottom line of huge companies. Okay, next category. Architects. Seems traditional, maybe.
A bit, yeah.
But there's serious money here, too. The average salary might be around $100,000. But good architects, and that distinction seems important,
Very.
they consistently earn over $250,000 a year.
And this connects directly to the real estate market, which, let's face it, is always booming in some way, shape, or form. It's fundamental economic activity.
Always building something somewhere.
Exactly. And with developers, big companies, even cities tackling more ambitious, complex projects, there's this constant need for innovative, skilled architectural design. The core idea is that one single large project, especially for a high-value client or an iconic building, can absolutely push an architect into that seven-figure income bracket for the year.
But there's a catch, right?
It's a
Competition.
huge catch. Unless you're already really well established, got a great reputation, a killer portfolio, a strong network, getting those super high reward projects is tough. Like most jobs on this list, because the potential payout is so big, the competition at the very top is incredibly fierce. You need the skill, but also the business sense, the marketing, the track record.
Makes sense. Bigger rewards, higher hurdles. Now, let's look at some possibly more unexpected high earners. Pilots and air traffic controllers. Maybe not the first image that springs to mind when you think millionaire.
Probably not, no.
Yet, they can be surprisingly lucrative paths. Average pilot salary is about $100, but the top pilots, they can earn over $300 an hour. Even the next tier down is often over $200 an hour. So for a dedicated pilot, hitting that first million could happen in under 10 years.
Very impressive climb.
And here's the kicker. Air traffic controllers, often overlooked, actually average more around $130,000 a year.
Yeah, what's striking about air traffic control is how relatively accessible it seems, career path-wise, compared to, say, the decade plus of training for a surgeon or the intense demands on a top corporate lawyer. Getting into air traffic control is arguably one of the quicker routes to a solid six-figure income on this list, just based on the required training time.
Quicker entry, okay.
Yeah.
But there must be a trade-off.
Oh, a massive one. It is an incredibly stressful job. It demands nonstop, intense focus, absolute precision, making split-second decisions where lives are literally on the line.
Zero margin for error.
None. So, while the pay is great and the barrier to entry might seem lower than some others, the mental, the emotional toll is immense. It takes a very specific kind of person to handle that day in, day out.
Right. High reward for incredibly high stakes and pressure. Okay, moving on. In our totally connected world, this next field isn't just well-paid, it's fundamentally critical: cybersecurity. Specifically, a cybersecurity application security engineer, $250,000 a year. Other cybersecurity roles often around $100K.
The why behind this is pretty stark, isn't it? It's tied directly to how we live now. We're in the most connected era ever. Everything about you, personal info, finances, health records, social life, it's all online.
Creates massive vulnerability.
Exactly. And that creates huge, growing demand for protection. Think about the Equifax breach. Personal data of 140 million Americans, names, addresses, social security numbers, bank info, all stolen. That just shows how exposed individuals are.
And for businesses.
The stakes are even higher. Big tech, pharma, anyone with valuable intellectual property, patents, R&D, they simply cannot afford a breach. A sophisticated hack could cost billions. Billions in direct losses, reputation damage, legal fights, losing their competitive edge.
So they pay top dollar for protection.
Top dollar. For anyone who can genuinely bulletproof their systems against constantly evolving threats, it's why those salaries are so high. Even for us as individuals, protecting our data is crucial. Look at all the debates about Google, Facebook, how much data they collect, how it can be used. It's pervasive.
The demand isn't going away, it's existential for the digital age.
Absolutely. It's only going to grow.
Okay, so protecting digital assets is huge. But what about just getting noticed in the first place, in this super crowded world? That brings us to marketing managers. It's so noisy out there, just cutting through, standing out, is everything.
Harder than ever.
A good marketing manager averages maybe $150,000. But the chief marketing officers, the CMOs, the top strategists, they're often over $250,000.
And a really great marketing exec. They can genuinely make or break a company. We've seen it happen. Think about Old Spice.
Right. That campaign was everywhere.
Exactly. 75-year-old brand, and one smart viral campaign more than doubled their sales in a year. Totally revitalized them. The key thing is, marketing isn't just ads.
No, it's broader.
Much broader. It's product design, positioning, public perception, market fit, how you stand out from competitors. It's crafting the whole story and making sure it lands. A typical marketing director for a huge brand like Pepsi or Coke, working at that strategic level, easily $250,000 a year. It shows how much value is placed on that strategic positioning and connection with consumers.
That link between smart marketing and actual business growth is clear. Shaping perception, driving revenue. Okay, shifting slightly. Sales. If you're good at sales, you can probably succeed anywhere.
True. It's a core skill.
But this category, high-end sales, isn't just about being good. It's about being exceptionally good and making a strategic choice to sell big-ticket items. The average salary for people operating at this level might be around $200K, but the real money comes from selling really valuable stuff.
The strategy here is all about scale and leverage. Why spend your time selling, say, 100 cars for a 5% commission on each,
Right.
when you could use those same skills to sell one multi-million-dollar property in Monaco? Your percentage might be smaller, maybe just 1% or 2%, but 1% of a $50 million property is $500,000.
One deal versus hundreds.
Exactly. That single transaction can blow away the earnings from countless smaller sales. The sheer size of the pie you're dealing with changes everything. It's about mastering persuasion and value communication, then applying it to those ultra high value markets. That's where the exponential gains are.
And the top performers, say the top 20%, where do they focus?
High-end real estate is a big one. Luxury homes, big commercial deals. Top people there can clear $250,000 easily. Pharmaceutical sales, especially for specialized expensive drugs, often over $200,000. And software sales, particularly enterprise solutions that cost millions. Over $150,000 isn't uncommon.
It really does come back to mastering those core skills, persuasion, negotiation, understanding needs. They pay off everywhere.
Absolutely. Foundational skills.
Okay, next up, software developers. Truly the backbone of the digital world we've been talking about.
Couldn't agree more.
Average salary around $150,000.
Right.
And crucially, often plus stock options or equity in the company.
Right, that equity piece is huge. While maybe the crazy everyone has a startup frenzy has cooled a bit, that era really cemented how valuable people who can actually build things with code are. Our whole world runs on software. Think about it. Without people like Wozniak building the first Apple computers.
None of this exists.
Exactly. And the key insight for developers isn't just the salary. It's their unique ability to negotiate for a piece of the company, for equity. If the company does well, grows, becomes valuable, the developer gets rich not just from paychecks, but from their ownership stake growing exponentially.
That direct link to the company's success is powerful.
It's a huge lever for wealth creation. Skill, demand, and that entrepreneurial alignment.
Okay, different direction now.
Yeah.
Tapping into a fundamental global resource, petroleum engineers. Where there's oil, there's usually money.
Often, yes. Big money.
These engineers command salaries around $200,000. Lots of other jobs in oil and gas pay over $100 too.
Yeah, these are the highly specialized folks designing the complex drilling plans, finding new ways to get oil and gas out of the ground more efficiently, more safely. It's very technical, demanding, often global work. But, and this is a really important but,
The catch.
while the pay is fantastic, working directly in extraction, like on the rigs or in the fields, it comes with one of the highest mortality rates in the world. The dangers are very real.
Yeah, you watch a movie like Deepwater Horizon,
Absolutely.
and it hits home instantly. The risks are immense. It makes perfect sense why it pays better and is definitely safer to be one of the smart people sitting on shore, designing the plans, managing operations, analyzing data.
Right, rather than being physically on the rig exposed to all those hazards.
Yeah.
There's a clear premium for the brain work in a dangerous industry.
Definitely. Okay, now for a real wild card in today's economy. YouTubers and new media personalities. The material says the average salary is peanuts,
Pretty much zero for most, yeah.
but the best, the absolute top, over $5 million a year. And for that elite group, hitting the first million can happen fast, maybe 2 to 10 years.
What's critical to understand here is the paradox. It's incredibly easy to start, but incredibly hard to succeed. The barrier to entry is almost nothing. It's free. So you have millions and millions of people trying to make it.
Massive competition.
Exactly. That's why looking at the average earning is almost pointless. It's a classic power law situation. A tiny fraction at the very, very top, the ones with huge audiences, tons of engagement, real brand influence, they're the only ones leveraging these platforms for massive financial gain. It's not just views, it's building an audience you can monetize through ads, sponsors, merch, even launching whole businesses.
And the numbers at the top are just mind-blowing. Ryan's toy reviews, the kid unboxing toys, reportedly over $20 million a year.
Just from ads, yeah. Incredible.
Perfect. The trick shot guys. Similar range, around $20 million. PewDiePie, consistently north of $15 million.
And it's not just YouTube.
Right. Across the board. Ninja on Twitch, the streamer, nearly $10 million last year. Shroud, another big streamer. Joe Rogan's podcast, tens of millions a year. And then you have influencers like Kylie Jenner, Jeffree Star. They use their platforms to build massive companies.
It's a whole new model for wealth. Influence at scale is an incredibly valuable commodity now.
Truly a new frontier. Okay, let's move to another very visible, high-paying field, professional athletes. You could argue there's never been a better time in history to be a pro athlete.
Financially, probably true.
The average salary for those who make it to the big leagues is around $2.5 million.
Yeah.
But, and it's a big but, the average career, only about 5 years long.
Yeah, that's the kicker. Beyond the intense physical demands, the travel, the pressure to perform constantly, the biggest challenge for many athletes is figuring out how not to go broke after that short, high-earning career ends.
The post-retirement cliff.
Exactly. The financial challenges are huge and often underestimated, even with those massive paychecks during their playing days. It really brings up questions about financial literacy, wealth management. Raw earning power isn't enough. You need discipline, planning, smart investments for the long haul.
And the earnings for the absolute superstars are astronomical. NBA,
Yeah.
LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, $30–40 million a year range.
Just salary, often not including endorsements.
Right. NFL. Aaron Rodgers got that $67 million deal. Aaron Donald, $40 million. Tom Brady, even late career, $15 million. Soccer or football globally, Messi, $84 million salary. Ronaldo, $61 million. Neymar, $73 million.
Yes. Staggering numbers.
But here's the really sobering part, connecting back to that post-career issue. Despite these incredible earnings, a shocking 80% of NBA players reportedly file for bankruptcy within 5 years of retirement.
80%. It's unbelievable.
And more than half of all pro athletes across sports end up broke eventually. It hammers home that point about financial literacy. Earning it is one thing, keeping and growing it is something else entirely.
A hard lesson for many, unfortunately.
So what does this all mean for professional entertainers? Actors, musicians, TV personalities. The appeal of celebrity obviously comes with fame, but also potentially huge financial rewards.
Yeah.
Salaries from $250K up to well over $10 million a year for the top names.
Yeah, it pays extremely well to be a big celebrity, no question. Singer, movie star, TV host, the potential is vast, but the journey to get there, almost always long, tough, incredibly competitive.
It's not overnight success usually.
Rarely. Think about Robert Downey Jr., huge star now, right? Reportedly paid only $500,000 for the first Iron Man. Tom Hiddleston as Loki, $160,000 for the first Avengers. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, $300,000 for his first film. These were breakthrough roles, but the initial pay shows you the climb. It takes persistence to reach those top tiers where the truly massive figures are.
That's a great perspective. And at the very top, the earnings are just, wow. TV hosts, Ellen, $80 million a year. Dr. Phil, $79 million. Kimmel, $15 million. Conan, $12 million. Judge Judy, $47 million.
Judge Judy, incredible.
Reality TV stars like Kim Kardashian, $1 million per episode. Big ensemble casts, Game of Thrones, Big Bang Theory, Modern Family negotiated $1 million per episode later on. Even the Stranger Things kids hit $250,000 per episode.
The film star.
Yeah. Chadwick Boseman, $2 million for Black Panther. Brie Larson, $5 million for Captain Marvel. Scarlett Johansson, $15 million for Black Widow. And RDJ now, over $35 million for his big roles. Musicians too, Bruno Mars, $100 million a year. Drake, $40 million. Even viral hits like the Cash Me Outside Girl leveraged it into $1 million a year through deals in music.
It's a mix of talent, timing, savvy, self-promotion. But this whole landscape is constantly shifting. The entertainment industry feels like it's morphing into something new, blending traditional celebrity with that influencer model we talked about. Adaptation is everything.
Definitely. The lines are blurring everywhere. Okay, let's shift to the world of managing huge amounts of money. The world of the rich people, you might say. Investment bankers. Average salary, $200,000. But managing directors at top firms, at least $1 million a year, often much more.
And the really crucial insight there is that the biggest part of the pay often isn't the base salary, it's the massive yearly bonus.
Right, the bonus can be bigger than the salary itself.
Exactly. It incentivizes big deals, high performance. Money, and managing money smartly, is one of the oldest, most direct paths to serious wealth. Investment bankers are the crucial middlemen, helping companies and governments with financing mergers, IPOs, restructuring capital. It's a systemic approach, and the numbers involved are always huge. The fees reflect that massive capital and the specialized expertise needed. They're like financial architects.
And the top dogs make bank. Jamie Dimon at JPMorgan Chase, $28.2 million a year. James Gorman at Morgan Stanley, $22.5 million. Lloyd Blankfen, formerly Goldman Sachs, $22.3 million. Just puts the scale of that industry into perspective.
Truly staggering figures, testament to the value they manage.
Okay, if you thought investment bankers made a lot, prepare for an even bigger league. Hedge fund managers. Average salary here, $2.4 million. Average. And the best of the best. Consistently over $1 billion a year. Out of every single job on this list, the absolute highest yearly earnings are found right here in hedge funds?
So let's clarify, what exactly is a hedge fund? How does it work?
Good question.
Unlike regular investment funds, hedge funds have fewer restrictions. They can use really complex, often aggressive strategies, derivatives, short selling, betting on global economic trends, trying to get outsized returns. Essentially, it's very wealthy people pooling vast amounts of money.
Mm.
This pool is then managed aggressively by the hedge fund company to aim for massive returns. The biggest, Bridgewater Associates, founded by Ray Dalio, manages over $130 billion. And these funds are usually exclusive to the ultra-rich because you need a huge amount of minimum capital just to get in.
And how do the managers get paid so much?
It's the 2 and 20 model, typically. They charge a management fee, maybe 2% of all the assets they manage, just for running the fund. Plus, they take a performance fee, often 20% of any profits they generate above a certain benchmark. So if they make big gains, they take a huge cut. That pursuit of alpha or above-market returns drives those incredible fees.
And the top earners here just redefine wealth.
Yeah.
Ray Dalio at Bridgewater, reportedly taken home over $1 billion in a single year.
Billion with a B.
Ken Griffin at Citadel, managing $30 billion, $870 million in a year. Ezrael Engleter at Millennium Management only paid himself $500 million. It really makes you realize just how much money is sloshing around the world, managed by a very small group.
It absolutely does. Puts the scale of global capital into perspective. It's a fascinating world. And if you're interested in that mindset, the book Principles by Ray Dalio is highly recommended. He managed that $130 billion fund, earned over $1 billion himself. Incredible insights in there about life, business, investing.
Definitely worth checking out. Okay, our final category, business owners. And this one might surprise you with its average salary figure, $75,000 per year.
Yeah, that average seems low compared to the others, right?
It does.
But it reflects a really critical point. Only about 1 in 10 businesses actually survives and thrives long term. The huge difference with being a business owner, though, is you are 100% in charge of your earning potential.
Your ceiling is theoretically unlimited.
Exactly. Your income depends directly on your effort, your innovation, how well you adapt, your team, your sales, your scaling ability. The better you understand your market, have a clear vision, and make smart choices, the more you can drive success and create real wealth. It's not just salary, it's building an asset. Could be a tech startup, a specialized service firm, niche manufacturing, different paths, but all based on creating scalable value.
It's that classic double-edged sword. Every business is potentially one step from huge success.
And 1 step from failure.
Knowing which way to go, making those tough calls. That's the million-dollar question for owners. And yeah, we won't list the crazy numbers for Musk or Bezos. They're outliers, a tiny fraction. For most successful business owners, millionaire status comes from steady growth, smart scaling, market understanding.
Exactly. The takeaway is, if you're smart, disciplined, passionate about solving problems, and pick a decent industry, you can do extremely well as a business owner.
Yeah.
Unmatched control over your destiny, potential for huge value creation. But it comes with risk, intensity, and the need to constantly adapt. It's about building something valuable.
Right. Building, not just earning.
Now, after exploring all these paths to potentially huge wealth, there's a really crucial, almost philosophical bonus point that came up in our research. Don't pick a job just for the money. You'll end up regretting it.
Powerful advice.
It highlights this very real trap called the golden handcuffs. It's when a job pays so incredibly well, provides a lifestyle that's so comfortable and hard to give up, that it basically imprisons you, makes it almost impossible to leave, even if you're miserable, unfulfilled, or feel ethically conflicted.
A paradox, isn't it? Financial freedom leading to a kind of personal imprisonment. That's a really profound thought. You only get one life, right?
Yeah.
And trading that precious time, maybe your passion, your sense of purpose, just for material things beyond what you truly need. That seems like a huge shame. It's like chasing a rainbow. You'll probably never find the end. There's no pot of gold there in terms of real fulfillment.
Well said.
Your life is valuable. It's golden. Don't waste it chasing something that might leave you feeling empty, even with a massive bank balance. It really makes you ask yourself, what does true wealth actually mean to you? Is it just the dollars and cents? Or is it something deeper, tied to purpose, happiness, fulfillment?
That's the ultimate question this raises.
This deep dive really shows that while the paths to financial freedom are maybe more varied, more potentially lucrative than ever, they almost always demand extreme dedication, deep specialization, and often a willingness to take significant risks. We've covered an incredible range today, from the intense precision of specialized doctors and lawyers to the complex world of hedge fund managers and even the unpredictable wild ride of new media stars. The common thread for hitting those seven figures or even just achieving significant financial independence, it seems to often boil down to extreme specialization, making a huge, measurable impact or blazing trails in new frontiers.
Indeed. We've seen the staggering potential for financial gain, no doubt. But we've also touched on the hidden costs, the trade-offs, whether it's the real physical danger for petroleum engineers, the shocking bankruptcy rates for athletes despite huge earnings, or the constant pressure and uncertainty for entertainers. The path to wealth is rarely easy or without compromise.
Very true.
So, this exploration of millionaire making jobs, it ultimately challenges us. It forces us to think not just about how much money we can make, but what we truly value in our careers and, frankly, in our lives. As you reflect on these pathways we've discussed, maybe ask yourself, which route aligns not just with your financial goals, but also with your vision for a genuinely fulfilling, a truly golden life? What kind of value do you really want to create, and who do you want to create it for on the journey ahead?